Thanks for joining us on Senior Connections. The question for you, Kevin, today is, how much does it cost to live in an assisted living?
Well, a lot of people out there believe that it's not going to happen to them. It's going to happen to somebody else. Well, my mom was in there for almost a year. We paid about $4,500 a month for her to stay in assisted living. When you start writing real checks and find out it's real money, it can happen to you. What are you going to do about it? Well, here's a problem. A lot of you have applied for long-term care and you were denied, you were turned down. And that's become more and more popular when it comes to dealing with long-term care. We've got a solution for you today. Harry Crosby and Will Crosby are a father-son team, not a husband, father-son team.
Right.
And so Will's the president, right? Yeah. But Harry has been in long-term care business, I know, for over 20 years. He's the author of the book, Long-Term Care Insurance. Got a great booklet about should I buy long-term care. Harry, you've been in this for 20 years. How has long-term care changed over that period of time?
Oh, it's changed radically, Kevin. You and I had talked about it a long time ago. Policies got better, much better. Actually, they've reached a point where they're, because of the cost and the number of claims that are going on, that they're actually not as good as they were a year ago, and it's harder to get them because the underwriting is tougher. You got to be healthier than you were before. So the decline ratio, about 30% of the people who are now applying for long-term care insurance are actually declined. And I'm not counting the ones that never applied because they knew they couldn't get the coverage. It's a problem.
Yeah, and Will, you haven't been in as long as Dad, but a lot of people don't know that Dad's a legend when it comes to long-term care. He's been one of the top producers in the country. How did you choose to come into the family business?
You know, Dad had this opportunity come along, and he talked to me about it, and I've called people personally and told them about some of the new product that we've got. People that have been turned down for long-term care, and it really surprised me how enthusiastic they were about hearing about it. And it's a good product, and that's pretty much how, at that point, I decided that it was a good thing to be with Dad here.
Now, how is this product different than a traditional long-term care product?
Well, it's very different. First off, it pays cash on diagnosis. Long-term care insurance pays when you get to the point where you need help with your activities of daily living, 2 of them. And that's the way it works. With this policy, it pays when you get diagnosed with specific diseases. And let me add that 70% of the diseases that cause long-term care insurance claims, this policy pays cash for it. So it's the second best thing to long-term care insurance, in my opinion. If you get a chance and you can get long-term care insurance, you should. But if you can't qualify, then this is really the second best alternative. And it's new. It was only available in September of 2012 here in South Carolina.
So, Will, if I sit down with you and you're going to take an application from me, okay? Kind of what are you asking me? A lot of questions? You're going to go get my medical records from my doctor? Walk me through how the process would work if I was going to get this program in place.
Well, it's a little bit different from long-term care. You're going to have a shorter underwriting process. They're going to ask you what kind of drugs you take. They're going to ask you 5 questions, basically. When we have the application, there's a 5-question list. And if you can answer no to all these 5 questions, the conditions that it asks about, then you can qualify for this product. There's 3 levels of plans. Plan A, most of the people that we see that don't qualify for long-term care can qualify for the best plan, which is Plan A. Once they ask you these questions, then they're going to ask you for your drugs, and they basically are just taking your drugs and double checking to make sure that you answered your questions correctly.
But the bottom line, there are 24 diseases listed. If you can say, no, I don't have MS, no, I don't have Alzheimer's, if you say no to those 24, the probability is you can get this coverage. Here's the thing that you need to know. 95% of the people who were declined for long-term care insurance qualify for this policy.
Wow.
That's what's important
And so
to know.
about how much does it pay then again? What was the...
As a matter of fact, the policy actually pays, the maximum plan you could choose with the critical care, that's the name of this product, is $3,000 as a base benefit, but it pays twice that much, Kevin, in a nursing home. And it pays $4,500, interesting that you happen to use that number. It also pays $4,500 in an assisted living facility.
Yeah, well, I was really good that you could come on and tell us about this, because having been in this industry for 20 20 years, I've seen many people decline. I've seen long-term care insurance premiums go up 50 to 90%.
Yes.
I see people who had good products looking to get out of them because they're concerned it's still going to go up in price. And so basically, in order to do this, someone would call you and then walk us through what would happen next.
That's right. Now, I'm not looking to replace long-term care insurance. That's if you've got even if you had an increase, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
But if you, as an additional, I actually bought a policy myself, a small 6-month policy instead of a 24-month policy, to take care of that time before I might need help with my ADLs. Because a lot of people call me, they want to make a claim. I got 800, 900 personal customers, and they're not ready yet because they don't meet the criteria to receive benefits for long-term care. So I bought a small plan just to cover that interim period of time before I get to the point where I don't need help with 2 activities.
Well, a great, much-needed product in the marketplace. So, Will and Harry, thanks for being with us today on Senior Connections.
Thank you.
And stay right there. We're going to come back, and Kevin's going to tell us about that earned tax, as well as we're going to give away a $25 gift certificate and a 3-set DVD of historical, what was that, Kevin?
Living Battlefields. It's a really good series. See if you're the winner when we come back on Senior Connections.